My name is Christina Hansen. We are a family of 3, my parents and myself. Usually, I enjoy my mother's cooking, but today, being my father's birthday, we decided to have dinner at a fancy hotel for a change. However, we encountered someone unpleasant there. The food at this hotel is really delicious, isn't it? Yes, it is. How often do we get to eat in such a place in our lives? We have to go all out for Dad's birthday. After all, you always work hard for us. It was supposed to be a pleasant meal. Hey, aren't those people next to us poor? Suddenly, I heard such a voice. I wondered who she could be calling poor, but looking around, there didn't seem to be anyone that fit the description. It's unbelievable that poor people come to a place like this. Looking in the direction of the voice, I saw a mean-looking woman and a man. They were looking at us and laughing. I thought, they must be talking about us. Do you think they noticed we were talking about them? Places like this are meant for elites like us. It's awful. Our meal tastes worse because of them. I thought, then leave. Dining etiquette is important, right? It bothers me when there are people who don't understand that. That's certainly true. But it's not about how to use forks and knives. It's about people who badmouth others and laugh about it. Even a young person like me understands that. Yet, they seem to have no clue. Hey, look at that girl's outfit. What about it? Is she trying to be fashionable? She doesn't realize how unsuitable her outfit is. I'm sure it's expensive, but the clothes are crying. Can't be helped. She must be a poor country bumpkin. As if she could ever date someone like you, my elite banker boyfriend. Of course, to date someone like me, you have to be a capable and beautiful woman with class. Right. They were looking at us, wanting to show off how capable they were. But if they were truly capable, would they be putting others down? I wonder if they are celebrating some kind of anniversary. I thought, it's my father's birthday, what about it? I was getting less amused and glared at them. Glaring at people during a meal, she must be a real mountain ape. Leave it. Don't say too much, or you might get bitten by the monkey. Monkeys these days are vicious. I thought, this is infuriating. It's my dad's important birthday celebration. Christina, let it go. The less intelligent someone is, the more they talk about others. They're pitiful people, unaware of their own foolishness. That's right. Smart people don't talk like that. Exactly, today is Dad's birthday. We should be grateful just for him being born. Without being swayed by the words of fools. Thank you. But somehow, spending so much on food feels wasteful. Not at all. We should be thankful that you've made it through another year. Thanks to your hard work, we can enjoy this delicious meal. In our family, we only splurge on my father's birthday each year. I often hear children are most important, but to my mother, having a kind father is what makes our home. My existence comes second, which is also because of my father. That's fine. But while we were talking about this, those two started laughing again. Hey, it's nice that the family gets along. But to say that this is special just because it's a birthday, I don't get it. We eat this kind of food often, so it doesn't feel so special anymore. Maybe we should eat more modestly like them occasionally. Then we could appreciate this as much as they do. But that wouldn't suit elites like us. That's true. I wonder what they usually eat. Probably just beans and bread. Just cheap stuff, I guess? I thought, don't make fun of beans. Whether it's beans or bread, it's delicious enough. They are ridiculing us too much. I thought, apologize to the producers. Also, doesn't it smell bad? Huh? Do you smell something? Yes, it's the smell of poor. Smell of poor. That's troubling, as I'm an elite, I can't recognize the poor smell. Oh, now that you mention it, yes. I come from an elite family, and I am an elite myself. Now that you say it, I realize I don't understand what being poor is like. But somehow, I feel it. What does the smell of poor even smell like? It's a difficult metaphor. When I look at those people, that's what I think. Well, that's certainly true. I mean, look at that mother. That ring, she might think it's a diamond.
Ah.
It's just a big piece of glass. That's what I thought too. It must be an imitation, worn just because she's come to this kind of place, but it's obviously glass. The way it shines gives it away immediately. The mother's hand stopped. Of course, she would be angry. After all, she loves jewelry. To be called imitation is an insult. Seeing such a reaction from the mother, the father stood up. But the mother stopped him. Don't stoop to their level, dear. I'm fine. There's no point in dealing with ignorant people.
Yeah. Yeah.
He says, but it seems his anger is significant. Even the usually mild-mannered father is stabbing his fork into the plate now. Just stop the nonsense. Though I think this, they won't understand. And they continue to mock us while drinking champagne and enjoying the delicious food. I thought, it's a pity that such people get to eat this food. That's when my father spoke. It's a pity for the food to be eaten by such people. Oh, like father, like daughter. We were thinking the same thing. Then, as if my mother found it hilarious, she struggled to suppress her laughter. Dear, you are too funny. But it's true, isn't it? Of course, it's too true. Hey. Those poor people are being incredibly rude.
Yeah.
That's right. Just as he said that, the man stood up with a champagne glass in hand. He then stood next to my father and tilted his champagne glass over my father's head. The poor family should disappear. My mother and I couldn't help but scream. I quickly handed a napkin to my father, but my mother reacted differently. How dare you? I just gave him some champagne to drink. It's one thing to attack with words, but this is unforgivable. If you don't like it, just leave. Which bank do you work for? You keep saying you're an elite banker. But it must be some unknown local bank, right? Don't joke, lady. He's from Metropolitan Major Bank. Oh, Metropolitan Major Bank. I can't believe a major bank would have people like you. You pretend to know. But a poor person like you wouldn't have any connection to our bank. Think what you want, but you will regret this. What's there to regret? When my mother smirked, the manager came rushing over. He bowed desperately to my mother and checked if my father was okay. Wow, being so deferential even to the poor. And here we are having a bad experience. Let's go home. I can't stomach a meal in a place with such people. We'll come back another day. That sounds good. Later, there was supposed to be a surprise cake for my father. But it seems we won't be having cake today. Now that the poor are gone, we can eat in peace. I heard the woman's happy voice from behind. The next day. Christina. We're going to Metropolitan Major Bank. Drive me there. Huh? Metropolitan. Wasn't yesterday's banker from Metropolitan Major Bank too? Yes, that's why we're going. What are you planning to do? Close my account. It seems my mother's anger from yesterday hasn't subsided. My mother runs a major corporation that everyone wants to work for. I work there as a driver and my mother's secretary, and my gentle father works as the vice president. At home, they are mild-mannered, but once at work, my mother transforms. My father is friendly and always smiling. But my mother does not spare any mercy in her work, she is very strict. Since my mother is heading to Metropolitan Major Bank, I sensed a storm brewing. When we arrived, call the manager. She went to the counter without taking a number and told the female staff member. You need to take a number. Never mind that. Call the manager. The staff member, perhaps intimidated by her forcefulness, said, Please wait, and ran to tell the manager. The manager looked troubled, but as soon as he saw my mother, he came rushing over. Madam President, what can I do for you today? Hearing the word president, the other customers turned around and were puzzled. Well, that makes sense, as both my mother and I were dressed in work clothes. People who know my mother can tell right away, but those who don't might think. What's with this old lady? She looks like a worker, right? But this is my mother's trademark. Please close the accounts for my 10,000 employees. Excuse me? May we speak in the back? Hearing about the cancellation of accounts for 10,000 people would surely surprise and unsettle anyone. However, the company my mother runs has arranged to deposit all salaries into Metropolitan Major Bank. It seems to save on transaction fees. Mother once said, I'm giving you the business of 10,000 accounts, so lower your fees. Typical of her. But, if we change banks now, wouldn't the fees increase? She must be aware of that, but she must be so angry that she doesn't even care. Inside, there was a VIP reception room. Leather sofas were set up, and the room was decorated with expensive-looking vases. Flowers were arranged, and although the paintings were likely forgeries, they were displayed. As we sat on the sofa, coffee was promptly served and delicious-looking cake was prepared. But my mother didn't even glance at it. I thought, it looks delicious. It's probably not right to eat in this atmosphere. When the manager sat in front of my mother, he began. Thank you for coming today. Skip the greetings. Yes. So? I told you to close the accounts for 10,000 employees. Upon closing the accounts, what about the salary transfers? We will contract with another bank. However, doing so might increase your fees. The bank would obviously want to retain such a client. It's natural they'd bring up fees. I know that. I've already taken care of it. I thought, she's fast. I remember her making calls after we got home yesterday, was that it? You've taken care of it? I've contracted with another bank for even lower fees. Thanks to your foolish employee, our company ended up benefiting. With that, my mother gave a wry smile. But our fees are exceptionally low, and it's hard to imagine a lower rate. That's what corporate effort is for. Does your company have branches overseas? And are you contracting with a bank that has overseas branches? Of course. I see. So, please hurry up with the cancellation. Yes, I understand, but could you explain a bit more? What's there to explain about just canceling them? Why did you suddenly decide to cancel? We have had a long-standing relationship with your company, and to have it end this way. Do you want to know why? Yes, I didn't think you were someone who would say such things without a reason. Then my mother took a deep breath and began to explain about yesterday. Yesterday was my husband's birthday. A birthday. Congratulations. We thought we'd enjoy a fancy hotel dinner as a family. That's very nice. But there, we met an employee from your bank. That employee called us poor. What? To you, madam? I don't care that he called us poor. But he mocked my daughter, and worse. He poured champagne on my husband's head and laughed, saying, the poor family should disappear. Is such rudeness acceptable? That's. How angry do you think I was after they insulted my beloved family? That's completely understandable. But are you sure it was an employee from our bank? Yes. He boasted about being an elite banker. When I asked which bank, he said Metropolitan Major Bank. Moreover, he told me, a bank completely unrelated to a poor person like you. Unbelievable. Then it's time to sever that tie. I'm very sorry. And do you know the name of this person? I don't know his name, nor do I want to know. I would like to call him here and have him apologize. Forget about that, just proceed with the cancellation. I didn't come here to complain, I came to tell you to close the accounts. Of course. The cancellation process is ongoing, but with 10,000 accounts. It will take some time. So, during this time, we thought to offer an apology. Sigh. Okay. I don't know his name, but... My mother then described the appearance of the man from yesterday in detail. Impressive how well she remembered. But such observational skills might be why she can manage such a large company. The manager took notes on the features my mother described, excused himself, and stepped outside. He soon returned with 3 men. Is the man from yesterday among these? As the manager asked, one of the men spoke up. You, from yesterday. Why is this old lady here? An employee of Metropolitan Major Bank, calling a VIP lounge guest old lady. I thought, this guy is a real piece of work. In the end, that single remark identified the man from yesterday. Eric. It was you. The 2 of you, please return. As the manager spoke, the other 2 left. Is this man really one of the elites of this bank? A person who uses words like old lady towards a customer? You've really shown your true colors. I apologize. What's with you, acting all high and mighty? Why is a poor family like yours even here? Did you come to taste what it's like to be wealthy? You. Stop saying rude things. She is a major client. Manager, don't be fooled. These people are not wealthy, just plain poor. Just yesterday, they were at a fancy restaurant, but only because it was the husband's birthday. If they were really rich, they wouldn't need to come out for anniversaries. They should be able to come to such places regularly. Hey. You. In fact, the husband was saying, how often do we get to eat at a place like this in our lives? Doesn't that sound like a poor person to you? Stop it. Do you see now, manager? This is his true character. Do you think we can keep our important employee accounts at a bank with such a man? You are absolutely right. However, withdrawing 10,000 accounts is. To be frank, it would be a severe blow to our bank. It could be disastrous. Therefore, I will make him apologize properly, so please reconsider. That's impossible. How can you expect me to tolerate my husband being splashed with champagne on his head? Would you tolerate it if it were your wife, manager? What's the big deal? It's just champagne. You probably don't get to drink it often, so I thought I was doing you a favor. You should be grateful. Do you really not know who I am? I apologize. Eric is indeed a capable employee. But since he mainly works outside the office, he's not aware of other matters. He's not aware of other matters? My employees are expected to have a certain level of understanding, even outside their direct responsibilities. We train all our employees thoroughly to ensure this kind of situation doesn't happen. Generally, if you don't remember a customer's face, given you never know where you'll meet someone, you should always maintain a respectful demeanor. Isn't his lack of manners or intelligence extreme? Or perhaps his head isn't that bright. What? I graduated from a prestigious university. I'm an elite. You have no right to talk to me like that. So, an elite from a prestigious university, huh? Well, that ends today. What do you mean? Probably by tomorrow, you'll be lost on the streets or off the elite path. Left with only a downward spiral. Why? Eric. The customer is right. Manager, what's gotten into you? Taking this old lady's words seriously. It's not about taking her seriously. It's because it's the truth. Why? This is the president of Corporation Hansen. The person next to her is her daughter and personal secretary. Corporation Hansen. That Hansen? Yes, that Hansen. No way. So, the person with you yesterday was? My husband, the vice president. The vice president. You've committed a grave disrespect towards the Hansen family. I'm terribly sorry. Eric sat down on the spot, his forehead rubbing against the floor in apology. But my mother did not forgive him. Apologizing now is too late. At the fancy hotel, you could have at least thought it might be possible. How foolish. But that's just you, isn't it? Oh, and about the ring you called a fake. Look, I'm wearing it today too. Take a good look. Do you think it's an imitation? It seemed she still held a grudge from yesterday's insult towards jewelry. Eric looked up at the ring and then bowed his head to the floor again. What? What does this mean? He said my ring was glass. I never wear fakes. He said it shined differently, despite it being a 20-carat top-quality diamond. I wonder what kind of shine he thinks a real diamond has. I'd like to know. I apologize. Yesterday, I was with my girlfriend and wanted to impress her, so I said that. It was a moment of folly, please forgive me. Madam President, Eric is reflecting on his actions. Please forgive him. Reflecting, you say? Do you think everything is forgiven just because you reflect? Should we continue the contract because he reflected? Should we finalize a deal because he reflected? Do you think that's how things work between companies? That is indeed the case. If such things were allowed, work would be easier for everyone involved. But that's not how work goes. That means things aren't that easy. Please, somehow. Manager, it's because you are so lenient that this man has become so arrogant. Do you understand that it is your fault that he disrespects clients, thinking he's an elite? You are right. If we close 10,000 accounts, it's not just this man at risk, but your position as well. I acknowledge your desire to help your subordinate. But you might want to think about yourself as well. Indeed. Manager. You're right. It seemed the manager had not thought that far ahead. Unable to shout, "It's your fault," at this point, the manager, pale-faced, could only apologize desperately and keep pleading for the cancellation to be reconsidered. I will not withdraw. We've already contracted with another bank. And even if it's just 1 cent cheaper per account, that saves us $100 a month. What if it was 3 cents cheaper? That's a $300 cost reduction. Eric, I thank you. Your rudeness, seen from another angle, has benefited the customer. This is. So, no matter how much I apologize, you won't forgive me, right? That's right. I have no intention of forgiving you. You did enough to warrant it. Then, apologizing is a waste of time. What did you say? Well, isn't it true? Even though I, an elite, am prostrating myself, you're still acting superior. I admit you're not poor, but I really didn't understand why I had to go this far for you. Eric, enough is enough. Manager, whatever we do, the cancellation is going to happen. Once the cancellation process is complete, they won't be our clients anymore. There's no need to keep groveling. It's that kind of attitude that caused this mess in the first place. It's your fault our bank is in such a dire situation. Manager, what are you talking about? We are Metropolitan Major Bank. Losing 10,000 accounts won't make much of a difference. Let's think bigger. Idiot. If this reaches the president's ears, both you and my job is at risk. Don't you understand? That won't happen, manager. You might be at risk since you're management. But I'm protected by the union. Safe and sound. Apologizing was a loss. Eric, you bastard. What a fine subordinate you have. Because of you, I am getting fired, right? But that's not my problem. You're the manager, so it's your ultimate responsibility. At that moment, the door was knocked on, and a female staff member arrived. Manager, the cancellation of 10,000 accounts is complete.
Ah.
It's done, so it's done, thank you. Saying this, he slumped down. Yes, Eric, wasn't it? I'm well acquainted with the president. And I'll make sure to tell him all about you. About having such a terrible employee. What? So, you should worry about your own head rather than the manager's. I'll make sure you get fired no matter what. No way. After saying this, Mother laughed loudly and left the room. From beyond the closed door, the manager's yelling and Eric's anguished cries could be heard. Following the cancellation of 10,000 accounts, the bank became embroiled in a major scandal, on the brink of bankruptcy. The president came numerous times asking for the contract to be renewed. But Mother refused, stating she could not entrust her employees' money to a bank that employed someone like Eric. However, in consideration of the president, she promised to help in other ways, which led to Eric's disciplinary dismissal as compensation. Despite being ousted from the bank, Eric became a major news story, causing a huge response online. Consequently, Eric found it impossible to get re-employed at any financial institution. Not even at an unknown consumer finance company. Now, he's buried in the day labor market of Brooklyn's Skid Row. After canceling 10,000 employee accounts, Mother immediately went to another city bank to open new accounts. Of course, not all employees had accounts, but Mother quickly had them set up. Although the employees initially had complaints. Once the story of the dinner incident at the luxury hotel became public, and they understood the president's spirit in protecting their pride, all complaints swiftly disappeared. Moreover, her role as a wife, angered by the treatment of her beloved husband, was also highly praised. Amazing, Mom. What is your article on social media? It's got an incredible number of likes. Really? I wonder who's liking it. It's over 10,000, so it's not just from employees. Oh, I see. Writing about your father gets likes. He's quite popular. Maybe I should commercialize him. What? Whether she was serious or not, Mother was laughing. However, she indeed went on to commercialize the event, creating merchandise that sold incredibly well. Watching such a business-savvy mother, I wondered if I could ever become a president like her. Tying everything to business and converting any situation into money. Yet, she protects her family and her employees, and even their families. Mother really is an amazing person. Seeing such a steadfast mother, I felt lucky to be her daughter and was determined to someday surpass her.